This is about setting goals. It is about what we want to be true for our children. And so we want our children to achieve at high levels. I want them to have their times tables memorized at 3rd grade. And when they graduate from high school, I want them, if they want to go off and to college, I want them to be able to go off and be as successful as possible. They want to get into the military, I want them to be able to make it through the rigors of boot camp. If they want to start working right away, by all means do so, but I want to make sure that you have access to a profession that you can make enough money to take care of yourself and your family, and you can grow and experience all the dreams that America has to offer for those who are educated. Making it make sense. And so what is this belief system then, this codified student expectation, what does it look like in practice? It looks like in practice a STAR question. And an art teacher had 736 crayons. In case you are unfamiliar, that is a whole number. It is under 1,000. She threw away 197 broken crayons. So immediately, the student has to understand the logic of the real world and translate that to subtraction. Then she bought 150 more crayons. The student has to understand that now this is an addition, and I'm going to do 2 things, not just 1. This is what we do. Our job is to make sure that our students can learn this math and do it well. That is not our only job. They need to be in buildings that are full of loving adults that provide order and discipline. And whatever the maelstrom of their life may be outside of school, that this will be a safe haven full of joy, but order. But we do not send them to school to keep them warehoused there for the whole day. They need to learn reading and writing and math and science and history. That is the reason we have school. And so we hold ourselves to account. We spend $85 billion a year on K-12 education in the state of Texas. And the question isn't whether that's enough or too much. The question is it working? Are we, as the adults that run that system, are we meeting the needs of our kids? Because kids only get 1 shot at a 1st grade. And either we are doing right by them and giving them the best shot, or we're not. Where it was functionally impossible to find a school that met minimally academic standards just 2 years ago. So what we have seen statewide is school districts like Houston, although the improvements here are truly historic, but schools have improved statewide. Had we ratings in 2024, we would have seen 18% of our campuses statewide achieved an A, and we have educators all over the state working hard and smart in delivering better results for kids. So 23% of our schools statewide this year now achieve an A. This is improvement that we've seen across all 9,000 campuses in Texas public schools. This is the work of a lot of educators, but also a very wise public policy environment that focuses on meeting the needs of kids, ensuring they have the resources and the educators there to help them rise to the highest level that they can. In Texas, we have too many examples of places that show what can happen when the vision that we have of public education actually becomes the reality, that it becomes the great equalizer in giving folks access to the American dream. 361 campuses where more than 80% of the kids come from families that need federal support to eat on a regular basis. These are households that are challenged, but we owe it to them, we owe it to their families to give them the best education possible, and that is what's happening at these campuses all over the state of Texas. So you, right now, can go to our website, texasschools.gov, txschools.gov. You can search any school in the state. You can type in your home address, draw a little radius around your house, and start checking them out. You can get a deep dive on the school's performance. Unfortunately, the parents lost, because seeing the results of your school a year and a half later doesn't help you with your kid today. In 2019, the legislature passed a bill that required the Texas Education Agency to evaluate alternative ways of assessing student knowledge and skill. So we've done a bunch of internal research studies at the agency, many of which have then become policy recommendations for a next generation approach to how to assess student progress in a more effective way. So I can't really comment on how it will turn out because I don't know what legislation will actually pass. There's some discussion about setting up a shorter term progress monitoring cycle over the course of the year. That makes a lot of sense. Imagine a teacher or a school that can give feedback in February on how well their students are doing. You can make immediate changes. It's a great question. I would actually say where that question comes from, the system is actually already designed to do it. The closing the gaps domain looks individually at students who have disabilities and how well they have grown academically over the course of the year, how well they have been supported. It looks individually at students who come from households that don't speak English, and how well is their overall academic proficiency growing, and how well are they growing in their English language proficiency. It looks individually at families, at students who come from households of poverty, and how well that they have been reaching their academic milestones. So the system is really designed to shine a light on the kinds of success or lack thereof that schools have with those students and those student groups. And then we give an accurate appraisal of that. And if you're at an A campus, everybody celebrates that work. But sometimes, unfortunately, if you're at an F campus, everybody seems to complain about the ref. But it is still an accurate appraisal of performance.